Greetings and welcome back to yet another episode of the Daily Run, and today we're playing as Judas. So this run only goes to Mom's Foot, and I was kinda excited about this one because I felt it was gonna be a good run to reset, kinda put my head back into the game and just see where this takes me. And because it was a hard mode daily, I also expected this to be just a little bit harder than usual, which I felt like was gonna give me a run for my money, just especially after that bad performance yesterday. I feel like whenever I have a bad performance, I tend to perform just a little bit worse a few days after that. Maybe that's just like a nocebo effect or a placebo effect, whatever, but I definitely think like whenever I perform badly, I just have that mental block in some sense that I'm just not maybe in the right mood of things, or maybe I feel like I'm not playing that well. And I find that this happens with Isaac more than any other game. I just have like bouts where I feel like I'm not doing anything right, and it's just those small things, like maybe you play in a very certain way and for some reason you're playing a run and you just end up getting hit way too many times than you usually would, and you don't feel like you're doing anything different, but you're just maybe standing in exactly a little bit of a wrong position at the wrong time. You end up getting hit against a brimstone attack that you usually never get hit against, and all those little things do add up throughout the run. And of course at the end what ends up happening is maybe you end up short on like one heart or maybe two hearts, and of course that can end up costing you like 4,000 points for not beating the lamb. And I'm just saying that because that's exactly what happens this run. I had all the chances to beat the lamb, but they just kind of ended up in a failure, and I would like to explore maybe those avenues of why that happened. And I feel like just kind of starting at the start would be a good way to kind of go about this. So of course we got Rotten Baby, and then of course we got Serpent's Kiss, and both of these items are great because I feel like already with these two items it's just strong enough for me to be able to get to Mom, and of course I can make my decisions from there. If I find an Awas rune, I'm gonna go to the next floor. If I find a teleport card, then I can go to Boss Rush, teleport out, and of course explore the rest of the floor. But maybe more likely, if there is gonna be a sacrifice room, because now we have a way to generate hearts via the Serpent's Kiss, I'm gonna be using that self-sacrifice room in order to get to the Dark Room, and of course that would just net me most points on average out of all of the other options. Of course, like I said, if I had an Awas rune, or at least if I had other opportunities to maybe do something, that's got to be my preferred choice. It's not like I'm defaulting to go into the Dark Room, but with the Serpent's Kiss, of course, it's nice that at least we have the possibility if that opportunity presents itself. And I feel like it's just very important to have just as many options as you can, so you can make an informed decision in some sort, just to try to get as many points as possible. So of course, because of that, I was also glad that I had Rotten Baby, because it was a Dank Depths, and Dank Depths are the floor which I consider to be one of the hardest in the game, at least relatively. But also there are a lot of room layouts which have a lot of rocks or pits or just mushrooms or whatever, and it's very hard to hit enemies because they're usually hiding behind them, so you kind of have to be in a compromising situation. But with Rotten Baby you have a way to kind of shoot over those enemies, over the rocks, and because it's homing you don't really need to aim as much as you need to do with your regular tiers. So just having an extra layer of DPS that just a bit more guaranteed, I feel like was very helpful in this particular run, and I think it did help us preserve our hearts, which again is very important if you actually want to use a self-sacrifice room to get up until a certain point. So at this point I had 12 hearts, which I felt like was really good, and I was in a good position, so I'm kind of on the lookout for the self-sacrifice room, because you can notice it's the 15th minute, and going to the Dark Room, not the Dark Room, but to the Boss Rush would require me pretty much to go just out to the next floor immediately, which would mean I wouldn't be able to explore the rest of this floor, plus I probably wouldn't be able to explore a good chunk of the next floor. So now I have a decision to make. Do I want to look for the sacrifice rooms, which I'm not really sure if they exist yet, or should I just go for the guaranteed boss rush and just get maybe 4,000 points that way? I kind of made a little bit of a risky choice, but also a little bit of a informed one, because like I said, I didn't have a teleport card, I didn't have an Awas rune, so I felt like going via that route. Of course, if I had a teleport card, what I could have done is gone to the boss rush, kind of got there as soon as I could, and then teleport out and of course explore the entirety rest of the second floor, or at least the depth, so which would allow me to both use the self-sacrifice room if there was one, but also explore the entirety rest of the floor just for that exploration bonus. But because I didn't have either of those things, I just felt it was going to be a much better idea. In the average case, I'm going to get more points if I just decide to find the self-sacrifice runes, because I essentially have two chances at it. It can either be on this floor or on the next one, and that would just give me more points on average if I just went to boss rush and not done anything else at all. And in this sense, of course, what I mean not anything else at all is either use a teleport card to get out, explore the entire rest of the floor, or use the Awas rune. I feel like if you have those two options, it's usually the favorable thing to do, but because I had neither, I feel like this was going to be a better way to get more points easily. And of course I started playing them, but it also required quite a bit of luck. I needed at least one spirit heart drop, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to complete my self-sacrifice in order to teleport to the Dark Room. I only had 11.5 hearts, and you need at least 12. usually actually a little bit more, like 13 or 14, to get to the dark room, and I just didn't have enough health. So I was kind of hoping, or at least I was banking my money on getting at least one more spirit heart from the drops of the self-sacrifice room, and I think there's something like a 75% chance of getting one, or maybe a little bit higher, so the odds definitely were in my favor, but it wasn't guaranteed, so there was always a chance of failure, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And just knowing that, I feel like already was one of those strategic decisions which I've made, which managed to pay off in this case, which would probably manage to pay off in the majority of cases, but it felt nice for it to pay off in this case. Of course, if I just ended up walking the self-sacrifice room, and if I didn't successfully teleport, then what I should have, what I would have done is go to the next floor and try to do boss rush. Obviously, I would miss boss rush because I spent so much time in the self-sacrifice room, so it would just be something in a fruitless effort. So I feel like because it was a risky maneuver, it felt even better that it actually paid off in the end. So I'm trying to find the lamp here. I kind of slowed it down to show you that some of the things that hit me, first of all, I didn't even see that shot because it was so dark, and for some reason I just can't see dark things. And the second part of when he hits me is exactly what I was talking about. I saw him do his bulging attack in his mouth, like the animation is there to showcase it to me, and then I just kind of got excited. I felt like, oh, he's so low, I'm so low, I just need to do something as fast as possible. I drop bombs, and the second part is just the velocity. I was just already going in that direction. He started charging his shot, I saw it coming, and I just couldn't dodge in time. And of course, part of that is due to my low speed, and just part of that was just due to my slow reaction times. And this is exactly what I mean when I said that I just feel like I'm doing everything like I usually do it, but for some reason I'm getting hit in this particular daily. And I don't think there's anything you can do about it. It's just bound to happen sometimes. You're gonna have an off day, maybe your arm is tired or whatever. But I hope, not I hope, but I think that this did serve to kind of reset me a little bit. I feel like tomorrow's daily is gonna be a lot better than this one. Maybe not because I have a busy day tomorrow, but maybe excluding that, I feel like it's gonna be better because I got kind of get back into it. I kind of reset my head a little, and I feel like it was gonna be a good learning opportunity to kind of go in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.